and lowball offers too. Zero takedowns, they're a pain. What can we do? High selling fees, bad buys and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Been a little delay because I had to get my eyes going here. I'm getting like my vision's kind of going away. I think this last trip we took really put a tax on my vision. So going to be going very soon to the optometrist to get that all figured out. So we'll just see. It's also the whole getting old thing kind of sucks too. So how have your sales been? It's a question I kind of tend to ask you guys quite often, but I mean, this is what we're here for. We're here to kind of, at the end of the day, discuss our sales. And what led me to kind of put the topic of the live stream, and that is, how do your buyers perceive you as a seller? I think that's important to think about that. You know, we talk about titles and prices and all this stuff, and I tend to harp on this part of the business because no one seems to be wanting to talk about it very often, but I really think it's important. Even more important if you sell within a niche, in my opinion. You know, the whole goal of excelling on eBay, or really any sales platform, is separating yourself from the competition. Now, if you have no competition, then just do what you do. It may not make as big of a difference. But if you do have competition for any of the items you're selling, then I really do feel like you're missing a step if you're not engaging with your buyers. And you know, think about how do your buyers think of you? They think of you do they think of you as eBay? Like, I just bought an item on from eBay, and the next time they buy, they're just going to go on to eBay and not look for you. Well, I think you may have failed an opportunity to make an impression on a buyer who then may come in looking for your items first before they go and do a general search on eBay. Now, someone like me, I sell all kinds of stuff. You know, it's not as big of a deal for me in that regard to try to build a buyer base, because they come looking for the same kind of item. I may not have it. But the other aspect of this, other than buyer retention, is buyer resolution. So if you have people that maybe will reach out instead of leaving a negative feedback, I think that's a win. They'll reach out instead of opening a return. That's a win. To give you an opportunity, because you first reach out to the buyer, to give you an opportunity to resolve any concern that they might have in that transaction. And the faster you're responsive to your buyers, the better. If you are right now in 2025 looking at buyer communication and buyer interaction as really unimportant and the last really thing that you're ever thinking about in your eBay business, I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem that a lot of people have. Now, hopefully now this is the segment of the video where Jenna gets up and she checks the door, and hopefully that's our mailman, because if it isn't, there's a chance we're going to have to get out of here a little early today, because I'm going to have to take my packages in. I think it is good. So that's the good news. And then we have FedEx probably coming, and there's not going to be any packages for us to give, so she's probably going to have to give that as well. Sales haven't been so great lately. In fact, it's kind of weird. And I'll be going over that here in a little bit. But sales for us are worse this week than they were when we were gone last week. Strange. But, you know, it is what it is. So we're just going to keep plugging away. I have a car full of packages that I picked up today, 4 different locations, and I think about 60 items. So we're going to get that stuff gone through and listed. Went to a bin, not a Goodwill bin, but it's another company. I have a pretty large location, and was going through some bins, like 50-cent $3 and $5 bins. It's like all laid out real funky, but really it's like I'm not finding anything in bins. I don't know, maybe if I wasn't looking for 10x or more from what I buy, so $3 item I need to get at least 30, $5 item I need to get at least 50, and if I'm not seeing that, I'm passing it. Now I guess the question that I have for you guys is, what is your multiplier, for lack of a better term? Is it, I'm buying this $2 item to do 5x? Am I buying this $2 item to do 10x? What is your multiplier that allows you to consider an item as a good purchase opportunity? Or do you just say, this looks good, you buy it maybe off of past experience, or you have a hunch? I think both of those are probably not optimal. It's like going to a yard sale without a plan. I'm going to buy out this whatever, and I'm not going to consider what the return is. So a lot of things, a lot of food for thought, but I want to know what you guys think. Am I putting too much importance on the idea that it's a good idea to really reach out to your buyer from the time they buy the item? Don't wait for them to be the one to reach out. As soon as they buy your item, have a little generic message, maybe 3 sentences, thanking them for the purchase. Please, we're going to mail this out whenever date you're going to mail it out, and please reach out to me first if you encounter any kind of problems. We want to make you happy, kind of thing. And you make it your own, however you want to do it. Send it to every buyer that buys your item proactively, and I promise you, you're going to find people who are going to be a little bit more patient, maybe more forgiving, and if you just deliver on the entire process, from the time you initially message them to the time they get the item and they're happy with the item, they're probably going to want to do business with you again, and that's going to separate you from your competition. So we're going to get into a lot of other things. I have some other things I want to talk about, but first I want to see who we have here. We got Joe Samard. Nice to see you, Joe. Brenda Smith was second. You guys were here quite early. Keith says, hi, John and Jenna. Hope you finally gotten some energy back after your nightmare trip. How do you... Now, she's not feeling all that well. So she's kind of quiet because of that. Is that why you're quiet?
Yeah.
So she's not feeling so hot. I am feeling... I got a little bit more energy. My last night of bowling for the season was last night. Went bowled well, made some money. That's the part we try to do. And then I have the summer off, so I have my Thursday nights are free, and that's going to free me up some more time to get some more work done. But yeah, feeling a little bit better. My vision though is still jacked, and I don't know what that's all about. Paul Rose says, evening all. We'll go watch on catch up. Have a good one. So get some rest, Paul. I know it's late there. And watch us in the morning or whenever you're able to. Mike Metco Meetups is with us. Mike Camperelli says, hi, John and Jenna and FA family. Hope everyone is back to normal and making those sales. Click on the like button to guarantee at least one. Yes, get a sale within the next 24 hours. Now, I can tell you, and I didn't forget, I just forgot to remember, if that makes any sense, to find out or remember what date we have on this, but we're going to be on Mike Metco Meetups channel.
Next Thursday.
It looks like next Thursday at, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern. So make sure you tune in to, and it's the channel name that's on the screen, Mike Metco Meetups. Go over there and give him a subscribe, and then we'll be on the channel and talk about all the meetup action going on. Callie Deb says, hello, John, Jen, and chat. Several years back, I lost photos on 1,000 listings and couldn't get them back. It happened again yesterday. We got them back last night. Too many other glitches as well. So, yes, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Oh, okay. I wish that eBay programmers would create a sandbox to play in that didn't involve all of us till they're ready to launch something new. I agree on many different levels. For those of you who may not know this, we are eBay's beta testers. There is no platform where eBay maybe has some sellers on there to test out new features and then they launch it once they got all the kinks worked out. it's sort of like buying a video game on first launch, and there's always patches that they have to put out, right? So, you have to go through the first week or so of that video game and dealing with all the issues and glitches, and it's annoying before, here a week or two passes, the company then rolls out a fix. And that's kind of what eBay is. It's just a video game that we're all playing, and we know that there's going to be glitches and patches needed behind the scenes. And what we see are the glitches that affect sellers, the seller-facing problems. We don't see the buyer-facing issues like some of the ones where buyers are getting those messages saying, can't buy this item, go back into search and find another buyer the seller to buy it from. So we don't even know the extent of the glitches. But all we can do, so that we're not making ourselves nuts over this, is just push forward. And if you can't load photos, so what happened yesterday, as what Callie Debs is talking about, yesterday there was some issues with, I'm trying to find the article here. Here's one here's e-commerce bites. Did image outage impact eBay sales on Thursday? And I think so. eBay experienced an outage Thursday in which images disappeared from listings. The incident began at approximately 1:30 p.m. Eastern and lasted 2 to 3 hours. At 2:40 p.m., an eBay moderator confirmed, and this is kind of the odd thing. Usually eBay just ignores glitches, but this time they did confirm it, that they had reported the problem on the product team and said, we're looking to see if there's any open tickets on this issue. Sellers opened numerous threads on eBay technical issues to report the issue.
That happened to me yesterday.
Yeah, one of the sellers who contacted e-commerce bites about the problem wrote, all my eBay listings on 2 stores and 2 different devices and 2 different browsers do not display all images, specifically the main image. I'm wondering if anyone else has this problem. And then, the hope was that they didn't lose people's picks. It's kind of the vision that, or the image that you would have seen had you been dealing with this at that time. Another seller echoed the concern about potentially lost photos on the eBay discussion boards, and that was the fear. Will the images return? If you guys recall, back, I like to think it was like 2020, maybe 2019. I think it was 2020, where clothing sellers lost all their photos, and they were made to go back in, and they had to go and redo. Can you imagine having thousands of listings and you have to go in and do photos for all of them again? Which means you have to go, unless you have these photos saved somewhere on a disk or your hard drive or your computer, maybe your phone. I don't know. You're gonna have to go in and find all these items in your inventory system, pull them. If you have them bagged already or boxed already, open them up, lay them out, take new photos. Can you imagine how?
Unless you've saved your photos somewhere.
But how many people do that? Because we think, why do I need this photo again? Unless I'm going to come across that item again, maybe I'll keep it. But then, why? If you're dealing with used clothing, you should never really take your own stock photo of that and then use it for any subsequent listing, because you're not really taking a photo of that garment. It's a different garment. There's different problems with it, different sizing and stuff. So I wanted to talk about that, and I think the mindset we need to have is just expect it. Expect that you're going to come across problems, and you know what? If tonight, when I'm listing, this happens again.
I'm sorry.
You're right?
I have a tickle in my throat.
Uh-oh. So if you come across this again, then find something else within your business to do. So don't allow it to derail your productivity. Put it aside. Okay, I'm going to list tomorrow, or I'll list later, check back later. Go in and do other things, like maybe research on some items. So one thing that I'm going to do more of, and I'm going to start doing them more on weekends, is to start going in, following my own advice really, and going in, finding items that have been sitting for a while, and find out 2 things, like on my main store. Is this item as good as I thought it was? So at some point before I bought the item, I had to have thought that this was good enough to invest in. but it hasn't sold. So go in and find out, is this item as good as I thought it was, by going into Terapeak, which we now know as eBay Product Research, and or 90 Day Sold, combination of both, to find, is anyone even selling this item? And if not, I'm probably moving it to my secondary store, and I'm trying to be more proactive when it comes to conversion rate for my store. And I put out a video yesterday talking about the separation of your items. And some people don't agree with me. You don't have to agree with anything I say, but I'm telling you, it's made a world of difference by separating the questionable items. And it's not always has to do with ASP. I've moved some pretty decent ASP items already over from the main to the second, because I'm trying to find a way to improve my conversion rate. And usually it has to do with lower ticket, lower demand items that I'm trying to put on my main store, and while growing both stores. So that's kind of the tinkering that I'm doing right now, and I really think a lot of people could use that. In looking at, on our members only live stream, looking at some people's stores, whether just stores we pulled up generic, just organically, or looking at people's stores that provided us, hey, look at my store. We found that there's some items that probably could benefit from their own store. They're, the more undesirable items you actually have on in your store will pull down your desirable items. I'm a firm believer in that. I mean, people will debunk me, will attempt to. I mean, there's no way to prove it, but I'm only going off of my experience and what I've seen, and what is the impact that change has made on my store when I separated things. Has just been night and day for me. And you guys have seen my sales. In fact, I'll show you. It's kind of what we do here. We show you. We don't just talk about it. We be about it. So let's be about it. Now, sales. Look, last week, we left on Monday. Had some really solid sales days on this main store, and then Saturday came of this last Saturday, and it was just horrible. No sales on Saturday, Sunday, Monday was okay, Tuesday okay, and then just been subpar ever since. It's been really about half the sales that I got as compared to when we were gone, it seems like. So we got to figure that out. But as far as what we're doing performance-wise for the year, we're up at 7.9%, it's almost 8%, $48,740 in sales on the main account with 644 items sold. That's down 8%, but we're at $75.68 ASP. Now that's on the main store. The secondary store, you see that it's doing actually kind of decent for this store lately. We are up 123%, but the thing is, you can't really look at that as a measurement, because the first part of last year we didn't have a lot of action on this store. But we're at $10,971 for the store, so combined we're almost at $60,000 between the two stores in sales. This one has a lot of sales for that volume, for that amount of money. 428 items sold. But we're operating at a $25.64 ASP.
That's
so
not bad.
It's not bad, and it's kind of
For
what
that store,
for that
it's not bad.
Right. So I'm not at all upset about it. I mean, we're down. I don't know why it's down 31%. I don't remember it being.
Because this time last year we didn't have a lot to go off of.
But the ASP, I'm wondering. I don't recall ever having bigger ticket items. It's saying that we probably should have been in the $40 range.
No.
$35 range. So it's I don't know how that
high.
Yeah, so I don't know what
on this store.
I don't know what that's about. So that's kind of what we're doing to kind of give you an idea as to how we're rolling. I mean, am I satisfied with that? No, I'm not satisfied with that. Even though it's an increase over last year, I'm going to keep plugging away and just doing the best that we can. Now, I think we've been talking about previous episodes about the impact of the tariffs and all that. The news that I didn't talk about is, the tariffs with China and how that impacts our goods. Well, the tariffs are now much lower for most items.
Have they gone into effect?
Yes, they are. There's no actual date that.
Oh, it was right away.
I think it went down to what, 30%, 50% on some items. I haven't done a whole lot of research on that, but I could tell you that's a lot better than 145% tariffs. Now things are still going to go up in price. That's going to be passed on to us, and then of course, if demand allows it, then we'll be able to pass it on to our buyers. But what do you guys think about that? Are you feeling better about that, or are you still feeling kind of the same about the impact of any kind of tariffs, whether it's 10% or 50%? Keith says, these glitches I've heard a lot about from other U.S. sellers, but I have not seen any of the glitches on the U.K. site as of yet. And you're probably not. They're different servers, and they're different servers, but they're different altogether. So you'll see different sets of rules for eBay Australia, eBay UK, eBay Germany, eBay US, and they're just all different. It's the same company, but it's all different. Kevin Hawthorne says, good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Nice to see you, Kevin. Ping's with us. Says, hello, John, Jenna in the chat. Nice to see you, Ping. And Biscuit Butt. So he's getting gas somewhere in the middle of Arizona by now. And
he said exactly where you said he was.
Oh, by Flagstaff?
Yeah.
I kind of figured that.
Said it earlier.
We have our Archie meter that we pick up on the vibe. We pick up on the vibe of Archie. I doubt he's seen any Biscuit Worlds though while he's out and about. Did he? Now, are there any Buc-ee's between Kansas City and Las Vegas? There's not.
So.
Oh man. Well, have a safe drive nonetheless. And Joe Samard says, "Howdy, John and Jenna. Sorry about the small problem you had on your trip."
Okay, I'm still recovering from that.
So
small problem.
How many of you guys are members? I mean, there's like 30 to 40 members that we have on the channel. We put that long video out. It's a long video. It's kind of from the beginning of our trip to the end of our trip with that craziness in between. It's like a 40-minute video. Archie had suggested, why don't you put it up? Now, I think the only reason why I haven't done it is because this is a reselling channel. I mean, who really gives a rat's about our experience on traveling? But there's a lot of twists and turns in it. So it's actually kind of interesting to watch. Archie said he was like on the edge of his seat, seeing what happened next. I don't know about all that, but maybe he's a little bit biased as he's our friend. But I want to know from those of you who actually are members of the channel.
I just think it's so much more impactful for us because we went through it.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like people would get the same feel as if just your everyday people that come in and watch the videos strictly for eBay content. They're not going to feel the impact if you don't really align with us or know us the way that you all do. You guys are consistent Mondays and Fridays, and the members, you guys just get us, and so you see where we can't come from as far as when something's going wrong, and so you can kind of empathize with us. So I don't feel like other people just coming into the channel to look at eBay stuff would really get much out of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, so I want to know what you guys think. Those of you who watched that video, let me know. Is it something that would be worth putting out? Now, my other ulterior motive in putting out that video is that on Sunday I went to Southwest, put in a case. I got their generic message saying, "Oh, we've got your information, and it may take a few days for us to get back to you." I haven't received a word back from them at all, and
I can't expect that they would have anything to say very soon.
I don't know. It's just crazy to me that they take that long. I mean, they don't even have a place for you to call in, to talk to anyone on that. Joe Samard, well, let's see, we just talked to Joe. Time to Sell Collectibles says, I'm finally early. Hello, FA Friday viewers. Only glitch I had was uploading photos. Would not load the listings correctly from the phone. when I did load photos were in a random order. What I've noticed, and I continue to notice, is, and it drives me absolutely batty, and it makes me wonder, do people not even crop their photos? I'm not seeing a whole lot of people complaining about it, but if you load a photo up and you try to go in and crop the photo, the first crop attempt will not save. It'll go back to the original photo, and you have to do it a second time. Someone messaged in the comments when I talked about that a couple weeks ago, that they just do a real fast crop attempt, and then they know it's not going to take, and then they do the right one. But it has to slow you guys down. If you're listing from your phone, taking photos through on your phone, and then you're trying to crop it, and you should be cropping it, because if you have a faraway image of what the item is, it's really not going to stick out as well as one that's an up-close image of that item. So how many people are dealing with that stuff, or do you not even deal with photos on the PC, just on the phone, just the PC? Wonder how that's affecting someone like a James Helferstay, who lists like 250 to 300 items in a day, and he's coming across that. Or do you just zoom in properly the first time and don't have to crop it? Henri Squaw says, howdy John, Jenna, and chat. Wow, all right, Friday already. Hope everyone is doing well.
I know, I don't feel like it's Friday.
I don't feel like it's May 16th. It's like, didn't we just, didn't 2025 just happen like yesterday?
Yeah.
Keith says, time to sell it. Have heard few others mention the same issue. Yes, with the photos and all that. Henri Squaw's with us. Says, that was crazy yesterday. I have all my photos saved for active listings. I delete them once they sell. I delete them once they're posted. I really don't feel like I need to keep thousands of photos sitting around until an item sells.
Yeah, but I know that when I was doing the pictures, I wouldn't delete them until way later.
Yeah. Never Too Old says, hello. Nice to see you, Never Too Old. Nice to see you. Pico says, okay, Ping, I've been called worse. What were you called? Called him Eric. Archie says, hey, Mike, I'm just outside of Flagstaff. Like I said, I thought it was about Flagstaff. Flagstaff's a nice little drive, though. You're going right through that community of Flagstaff in the mountains. That's nice. Coppercat says, hello, FA family, listening while returning home from sourcing. Did you get anything good? Not a great week in sales for Henri Squaw, just so-so. I mean, it's crap. Now,
yeah, we're in the same boat.
I really feel like...
Why did it do
I don't know, because you're playing with your cup. That's why. Hello. You got this auto zoom feature. Okay, there it is. It's like it almost is like the webcam is experiencing my vision, my issues with my vision. So really just trying to get my groove back. Playing catch up, coming back, getting back in that groove, in that zone, and I'm just going to try to do better this next week. That's all I can do. Been dealing with a lot of distractions and a lot of stuff, dealing with putting some videos together, putting that case together for Southwest, just doing a lot of things to play catch up on has been problematic.
Did you say hi to Devon? Hi, Devon.
Where's Devon? I see her right here.
She's right
Okay.
up here.
Okay. Happy Friday. Nice to see you, Devon.
Are you still in Montana, or are you back in Idaho?
The Tampa Bay Picker says, hello, everyone. Sales are up and down on eBay. Poshmark has been consistent over the last week. Mercurial is non-existent. Hit the like button. Yes, get your sale within the next 24 hours. How about this?
We actually had one sale on Mercari.
Yeah.
And one on Poshmark.
Well, check this out. We already know that, or at least you should know, that Bonanza raised their fees on May 1st. So we talked about this before, but if there's no reason for most of us to even be trying to sell on Bonanza, because what's happening is they allow you free insertion fees for the first 50 items, and then anything above 50, and most of us have at least 50 items in our store, they're going to charge you a 3-cent insertion up to $20 maximum. I'm not paying Bonanza $20 for anything unless you're selling my item. Sorry. And then Online Marketplace is raising the commission fees from 3.5% to 11%, and it's imposing new fees on larger volume shops, booths. Currently, Bonanza charges 25-cent transaction fees for sellers who don't have an active membership, plus a commission fee of 3.5% on the final offer. Beginning May 1st, which is already passed, we'll charge 25-cent transaction fee for non-members, blah, blah, blah. They've also rebranded themselves. They're not going to be known as Bonanza anymore. They're going to be known as B Marketplace.
What?
B Marketplace. I'm trying to find where it is. Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling around in your face here, but I don't see it here. Bonanza is going to be known as B Marketplace.
Just a B?
Just a lowercase b Marketplace. Isn't that
That's stupid.
Isn't that catchy? It's
That's
like, come on.
stupid.
It's not very good. I don't care if they call themselves.
I'm sorry, but they're not big enough to be doing all these fees and all this BS.
Yeah, it's like
They're a nobody platform, and they don't have the right to come out and do all this crazy stuff.
it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that the success of any platform relies on the amount of traffic that it's able to drive to its platform.
Yeah.
I don't care if you call it B Marketplace or, the little shit show. You don't have customers looking at your items. I don't want to sell there. And fix that problem. If you're asking me to pay 3 cents for every item that I have up, then you better provide some traffic. There's a reason.
You need to have advertising. People need to know who you are. I mean, quite honestly, we never knew who Bonanza was until just a couple
they've
years
been
ago.
around. They've been around forever. But as far as the intrigue of having your items on Bonanza was no insertion fees. You pay a final value fee, which was reasonable, and the getting your items ported over from eBay to Bonanza or B Marketplace was a fairly simple 10-minute process, and it was like, hey, I got a sale once every month. Now it's like you get fewer sales, at least in our experience. Last year it tapered off tremendously. Like the last 6 or 7 months, we didn't get even a bite on that store. And there's a reason why a lot of people are like, why do you still sell on eBay? Well, they provide what most sites cannot or have not or failed to, and that is traffic, consistent traffic to our listings. And there's more traffic on eBay than Bonanza, Mercari, Poshmark, and the others combined. That's why I'm there, and that's why eBay is able to charge what they charge in final value fees, and that's why they're able to persuade sellers to pay extra for promoted listing fees. And it just works. And if it didn't work, like Bonanza, trust me, I wouldn't be selling there. I don't know what I'd be doing. It'd be a tougher road to hoe, but I would probably change my business model altogether to either A, find the platform that is selling, or make a change to something like live selling or that type of thing, local sales, or even a Shopify type situation. But in the meantime, as much as you might have disdain for the platform because of all the things that they put us through, you have to respect the fact that eBay does that part right for the most part, is they drive traffic to your listings.
And also, too, I've noticed that they are actually doing a lot more advertising on radio, on TV, on YouTube ads. I mean, mind you, we don't get those. I haven't seen them, but we've heard that those are happening. But I did heard an eBay commercial just the other day when I was in the car, and so I just thought, oh, that's good. That's a step up.
But I think the mindset, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I think a lot of these sites, they're afraid to spend money in their business, in this case to advertise. And a lot of sellers on eBay are afraid to spend money in their business to promote, which is the same as advertising. No, there's not going to be a radio commercial saying, Sam's whatever, is having a sale here on eBay, come and check us out. It ain't the same there, but it's the same idea. you're promoting your item, getting more views to your listings, and people just don't want to give eBay any money. I understand that. But when you consider that in many cases, by promoting versus not promoting, you're going to do, I think, give yourself more opportunities to make the sale. Like one viewer that watches the show quite often had mentioned on the members live that, I don't promote. And looking at his store, he was willing to share his store with us. And I'm like, the listings look nice. There's, a couple things you might be able to do with your store to improve it. But for the most part, you're doing well for not promoting. And I come back to this question that I ask so many times to people who feel like they're doing well when they're not promoting. How much better would you do if you promoted at 3%? Don't stay off at 2%. You might as well not even promote. Your reluctant competition is all stuck on 2%. What if you promoted and gave eBay 3 additional percent? So to put that in perspective, you sell a $20 item, you're giving eBay what? 3% would be 60 cents. So you sell a $20 item, eBay's getting an extra 60 cents. But if you sell that item more often, because you're promoting, is that worth it? And I think a lot of us just don't see it from that angle and or put too much value on that 3%, and we keep ourselves from promoting. And I get it. I understand all the arguments and all the vitriol against eBay and why I don't promote and all that stuff. And some items you don't need to promote, to be honest with you. But have you tried it? It's one thing to criticize it when it doesn't work, but it's another thing entirely to criticize it because you don't want to try it. You got to be willing in business to take calculated risks to see if that's going to work for you. And then if you give it a real shot, and I'm thinking more than a couple days, give it a month. Try giving it a solid month. See if that 30 days at 3 additional percent, it ain't going to kill nobody. I'm not here to try to shill for eBay to make them money. I'm here to give you ideas on things that you could do to implement your business. I can give a rat's ass if eBay makes an additional 3%. I do care if you make an additional 10 to 20% because you were willing to give eBay 3%. That's kind of where I'm coming from. Time to Sell Collectibles says, see what happens when I'm early. Just went from a tornado watch to a warning until 6:30. Well, I don't know where you're at, but 6:30
okay.
For some, 6:30 is already passed. For others, it has not. So stay safe out there.
Yeah. I hear there's lots of weather going on over, like, Midwest, East.
I hear if you hit the like button, tornadoes tend to avoid where you're at.
Stop it right now.
Keith says, I had an item not received even though shows delivered. And then that's a good thing. So your item not received, you still got to play the game. You can't ignore it. Go in and then just update the tracking information. I don't know why it makes us do that, but maybe it's eBay's way of saying, okay, at least you've acknowledged that there was a problem. Go in there, just confirm that information. And then once that item not received case expires, they'll go in, investigate, find it in your favor that the item was delivered. It's annoying. Devon says, please smash the thumbs up for your eBay sale and your tornado avoidance. Yes. Mike Mecco Meetup says, I try to stand out from the crowd by going over and above on customer service.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. And I just, there's one thing to be reactive in that, okay, I'm great at customer service only when the buyers reach out to me. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's awesome. I think that is above average. There's a lot of people, if you ask them, what's the one thing I probably can do better in my business? It's getting to my messages on time, back to the buyer or at all. A lot of people, they get into this reselling gig because they don't want to interface with buyers or people. They just want to sell their items. But it's part of the game. You have to interact with people. So even if you're just reactive to buyers in a timely manner, that's better than average. But why not build this into your process and go above and beyond? If you sell 10 items in a day and you go on to your overview where your order overview, and just go to click the drop down. You have a pre-scripted thing that you already have saved, like I have on the bottom of my taskbar, and then I copy, and then I go into each one, send message to buyer, paste, send. Do that. It'll take you less than 2 to 3 minutes, and you will see there's at least out of 10, 2 to 3 will reply to you and say, thank you very much, or I appreciate that, or wow, I this is good customer service. And even if they don't respond to you, because one thing that I've noticed on YouTube is generally people don't go on to your videos to comment, but sometimes people will comment about something you said or did in a video, and there's a very good chance that one person will take a moment to comment, but there's 10 other people that are thinking the same thing and just didn't bother. Mm-hmm. So there's a chance that you're dealing with someone who gets that message. I mean, okay, thank you for that's awesome that you're sending this. They don't bother to reply to you like some of these buyers do. So just kind of keep that in mind. DM Ephemera says, I made it. Sales have been good till Wednesday's goose egg. Okay, yesterday and today, approximately 40% of sales are repeat customers. That's awesome. I have 1 to 2% repeat customers, just because I don't have a niche. He had 2 sales while he was waiting for the live. That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And we got Biff Boffo. Tons of competition in my dumb category, but I have almost 700 store followers. I think that's awesome. Ranked top 40 out of 40,000 sellers, and 100% feedback. And I have the best advertising inserts, 9 cents each.
Nice.
Wondering, for those of you guys have a niche and you have a good number of followers, I think that's awesome. So what are you doing to utilize that feature? Are you maybe putting together a newsletter? I mean, it's a little extra work, but it's a nice touch. I really think maybe even a Word document with maybe a coupon attached to it or something, or this is what we're getting in this week, or maybe you have some stuff coming for the store to keep an eye out. I think these are things that your buyers may want to know. And are you putting anything out? I swear to you, if I had 700 followers, if I had a niche, if I was like Josh Galt and had, I'm focused on a certain type of thing, and I had dedicated people looking at my stuff, I would want to keep them as informed as possible and to give them every reason to come back. So something to keep in mind. Kelly says, my multiplier is 10x minimum. Yeah, and I do that as well. Knowing that you may not get 10x, but you got to start somewhere. And I don't want to be the guy that says, like today, I was out at these bins looking at the $3 bin, came across this lighting fixture, and lighting, like a pendant lighting fixture. I've sold pendant lights before. Comps on them were sort of around the $30 to $40 range. And that's before shipping. But I know that sometimes these pendants don't sell quite that fast, so I just put it back. I don't want to buy something that's going to be sitting for a long time too. And really, I was just kind of getting an idea of this place, and I wasn't really in full buy mode. Maybe if I had a cart full of stuff and I was intending on buying, I probably would have picked it up. Hard to say, but I don't want to be at 5x and then know that I have to come down, because if I buy that 10x and I know through my coupon and my markdown sales and or maybe taking an offer because it's been sitting a while, I might be at 5x. I'm cool with that, but I don't want to be at 5x going down to 2x, if that makes sense. Ping G says, I buy based on my feeling. If I can make money reselling it, the price is cheap enough, then I will probably buy it. But if you're buying based on feeling, now we can have it based on feeling, or we can have it based on experience. So this item's $2. I know that over the last year, this very item I've been able to sell for $30. You don't have to look that up. But if you're just buying on, wow, that's cute, or wow, that's kind of neat, I think that's something that I'd like to have, that doesn't always bode well into profit.
I think for Ping, it's more she's very experienced, and so she can take a look at something and kind of know.
Yeah, I had a buddy that was at the time was looking at supplementing his retirement income when he lived out here in Vegas to maybe buy stuff to sell on eBay. And we went to the Raiders store at the stadium, and he was like, "Oh wow, these are like $60, but man, you could probably sell these pretty good online on eBay." And I'm thinking, okay, what are you gonna sell a $60 item for $100? To me, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, and it may not sell at all at that price point. Just trying to, I think sometimes we can convince ourselves that an item has more value than it actually does. And even if it does have that value, what it's costing you to buy it for, it's not worth the squeeze. Chastity's with us, says, hey all. Nice to see you, Chastity.
Hey, Chastity.
Big Dre says, I won't look up the comps if it's cheap enough and it's in my wheelhouse like shirts, but if it's pricey, I'll comp it to make sure it's worth the price. Yeah. I mean, after a while, you buy enough stuff, you don't have to look up everything. I think for the newer sellers, I think it's a good practice to look things up, almost everything. But as you gain experience, but also, things that I used to buy and sell 2 years ago, I know what it sold for then, the market. You always got to be in tune with the market. So maybe you haven't bought something in a while. Instead of just throwing it in your cart, maybe look it up to see if the market's still where you think it is. Mm-hmm. Sherman says, after a sale and get a good feedback, I always send a thank you note together with my store logo. Yes, I like that. Something we haven't done yet. I want to get some things printed up. Still haven't done that. I keep talking about it, but darn it. She's like able. She's got time. She's able to do these extra things, and she enjoys being creative to do these extra things. So maybe that's something that you can do. Flipping from the trailer says, hello, John and Jenna. Good to see everyone tonight. Good to see you too. And there's Todd. Nice to see you, Todd. Nice to see you, buddy. Glenn Cameron says, if I can turn $5 into 20 easily, I will. So I agree. And that's something I was wondering about today. How many of these, because I was looking at the $5 bins today, and I'm wondering how many of these folks, because we have $5 items and the comps were like 20 to 25, maybe 30. How many are buying at 5 to 6x? I just want to get better return out of my money, I guess. And if you could, if it's a fast flip, yes. It just really depends on how fast of a flip we're talking. How much return these have. Like I was looking at these heated pet watering dishes.
Why does a pet need a heated
I have no idea.
water bowl?
Maybe you put their bowl out in the middle of the winter and it freezes over and they can't drink when you send them outside.
Oh.
I don't know. But it's a heated and it fills it up, so you have it hooked to a hose and it keeps it full.
Well, they do have ones that are like big for like farm animals that have heaters in them. So
this is just a regular dog dish, green one, and it had like all the hookups and everything. And the comps on that were like anywhere from 20 to 40. And I think the ones that are more expensive are the ones that had the hose connection on the side. But I mean, it's so many Chinese knockoffs and stuff. It's hard to really gauge the market on that particular item. I just passed on it. David says, I always send a message letting the buyer know I dropped the package off and on the way and thank them for the purchase.
I got a sale.
There you go. What is it? A replacement water tank. Is it? Big Al says, hey guys, I'm Big Al, a YouTube person from Northern Ireland and a large-scale eBayer here. Just thought I'd pop in and say hi. Well, hello, Big Al.
Northern Ireland?
Well, I got to tell you, Big Al, I think you have a big fan in Mr. Josh Galt. He's mentioned you before, and awesome that you're dropping in to say hi. So go check out Big Al on his YouTube channel.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, welcome.
We love
Thank
our UK folks, and we do have a fairly decent size.
Northern Ireland and UK?
I believe it's United Kingdom is all with. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Scotland and Ireland are all in the same UK category. Maybe I'm wrong, but we do have a large following on our channel from folks out your direction. So that's awesome.
Water pump.
Water pump. That's awesome. Big Dre So we got Big Al
Big
to
Dre.
Big Dre says, I'm shipping out 3 shirts right now and a pair of shoes for a total of $100. There you go.
Nice.
Love it. Keith says 8 Eastern. What time is that UK? So 8 Eastern is just 2 hours ahead of when we normally do our show. So 3 o'clock is 11 p.m. in UK for most of you guys. So it'll be 1 in the morning. So, go to sleep, wake up, or watch the replay. I'm sure Mike would appreciate the view either way. Randall Lee says, thumbs up, guys. Just started my own store this week. Got any advice? Yes, I do.
Go back and watch all the videos.
No, utilize coupons and markdown sales. That's the benefit of having a store. Just start small. 10% markdown sales, 10% coupon. If you're not trying to give 20% a discount off your items, then go back in and adjust your items by 15 to 20%. And then utilize those things so that your prices are about where you want them to be. Big Al says, just for the heads up, in the UK I was doing $520,000 per year. This year it's down to $240,000 per year.
Oh my gosh.
Now let me ask you, Big Al, are you doing a lot of? I think you said what you were selling. Are you doing a lot of clothing? If you're doing,
no, I don't think that was.
Well, I don't see him saying what he sold, but if you're doing a lot of clothing, is that because of Vinted? Is Vinted taking a lot of your sales? And if it is, I'm wondering, are you considering cross-posting over to Vinted? So, I don't. It's kind of like a Poshmark kind of thing. We deal with Poshmark here in the U.S. They have Vinted.
Oh.
It's kind of like a hip online marketplace, and apparently a lot of sellers are going over to Vinted and doing pretty well over there in the UK. And I don't know if there's any software in the UK that would automate, like TreeCat does, automate the sale. If you get a sale on Vinted, will it remove it from eBay? Because that would be a concern, not wanting to cross-post between the two platforms and risk having a double sale. But even then, if you don't have the software, I would still consider selling on both sites. And so for Big Al, it's 11:13 at the moment, but add another half an hour to that by the time I read the comments.
Half
So
an hour, well, 45
it's 11:45. No, it's 11:50 right now. Gretchen says, I was logged out of my eBay app yesterday.
Oh.
I think also this is a good habit to get into. Go in and delete the app and then re-download it every few months, because sometimes they give you a new variation, and if you're using an older version of that, you may not get the.
And even sometimes the update doesn't fix it.
Keith says, hi Big Al, enjoying the videos you've been putting out lately on moving stock over and using cross-lister have been giving me food for thought. So yes, that answers my question. So he is cross-listing. I don't know if he's cross-listing over to Vinted or even if that's a thing, but if anyone's out there in the UK that wants to take advantage of something that's hot, you should be setting up your cross-listing program to at least include Vinted.
So is Vinted only clothing though?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Let me take a look here. Is it vinted.co.uk? Maybe. So yeah, so that's Vinted.
Where do you live?
Yeah, well, in the U.S., so it wants me to say U.S. I'm not trying to set up no account though. I set it up with Google, and I don't even care. Just let me see the site already. I don't care. Just show everyone the site. Vinted. So here's an error. So it's not just eBay giving errors.
Well, I think that's
Women's clothing. So that's your Vinted. Wow, what's that?
Oh my.
No label.
That's like no clothes at all.
What is that?
It's a Hoochie Mama outfit.
What is that?
Hoochie Mama.
Is that the pants?
It's a skirt and a top.
You guys got some strange fashion going on there in the
they
UK.
have that out here too. It's called Hoochie Mama.
So that is, yeah, but see, you got the French cut action. This is just the square cut. What's up with the square cut?
It's a skirt.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
That'd be some horrible panties there. But yeah, so that's Vinted, guys. Swamp Picker says, hello, John and Jen.
Hello.
How you doing? Glenn Cameron says, I would love to join your Discord. I'm just a bit YouTube illiterate and don't see how to join. LOL. So you just go.
It's right here.
Okay, go to the link that Keith has provided, and what'll happen is, ooh, he invited me. I'm already there. So what is the invite? Oh, he has a little invite action. So you go to, here's the Discord, and you can see there's all kinds of different topics. You can talk about general, like Mike is going to put some meetup stuff there. If there's any meetups, any shipping alerts, Etsy, Depop, Marketplace, cross-listing, off-topic, mental health, all kinds of stuff. And there's usually a conversation going on in there. You can go in and check it out. It doesn't cost a thing. Just follow the link that is in the chat there and get signed up.
I got another sale.
See, you told me that you can sell those. These are TV stand legs that we sold. So we mount all of our TVs and we just store the little pop-up stands for these TVs, and it's like we're never going to use them, so someone might buy them. We sold them for $17.99 plus shipping. Yeah, Swamp Picker says, give them a thumbs up. That's what you want to do. You're missing out on the sound effects. So Sherman Volkman says, surprise, I was about to hit the like button and cha-ching right before I did. There you go. Because we knew that you were doing that.
But you need another sale, so go ahead and hit that like button.
So Big Al lost images in the UK, so it was not just a eBay US thing, apparently. Devon says, you see listings on Google, click on it, does not bring you to them on eBay? It should.
It's supposed to.
Biff says, who's going to buy something when they can't see the pictures? I have 40,000 listings and got skunked all morning.
Yeah,
Nobody
I
is.
would not.
Nobody will. I mean, you might get a couple sales if you really know what you're buying, but most people are going to look at the photos before they look at what you have to say about the item. Big Al, the images have disappeared while I was cross-listing eBay images. It's not just you, and I wasn't really doing a whole lot of listing yesterday afternoon. I was in the morning, but not in the afternoon, so I didn't really notice it myself.
I did. I was doing cross-listing.
Duncan says, how, John and Jenna, did you have some pizza? We had some, we had a calzone, and we had there's a place that they specialize in calzones, and they had like the best garlic, like stuffed garlic bread.
Garlic bread, but
and
it's
like it's cheesy garlic bread, but it has like this garlic sauce in there that is ridiculous. I don't know what you thought of it,
was
but
really good.
it's like our go-to kind of thing. Devon says, I just started erase my old photos and items that sold.
Yeah.
And that's another thing though. If you have a program like a TreeCat, or even if you're not, because you can do a little bit of cross-posting on an Ink Frog, but I don't like their interface. It's kind of crappy. But like a TreeCat, you can have your library of listings. So not just photos, your library of listings, that if you ever need to go back in, you could just relaunch the listing from that kind of a platform. And we talk about TreeCat. They do sponsor the channel. You can use the link down below, but they don't charge you a monthly fee like these other programs do. They are currently US only, but if you sell an item, then you pay, because they're taking the software is taking the item off of the other platforms. And you can also utilize a lot of their sharing, the different sharing features like on Poshmark and some stuff like that. So go give them a check out if you can. Big Al says, I had Ink Frog, so I'm glad we had backup of all 65,000 stock items.
Oh, thank
I just don't
God.
want to pay the $39.99 a month for
65,000 stock items.
Yeah.
That would just literally make me throw my hands up and walk away for the day.
But if you're making even $200-something thousand a year, even on a down year, it's, investing on some of these programs is worth it. Biff Boffo says, even if you save your photos, it's more trouble to find them and match them to your listings.
True.
Yes, but like having a cross-listing program running in the background that's syncing up with your listings, so not only are they saving the photos, it's in saving the entire listing, so then you can just go and launch the listing and save you from all that work. Ping G says, I remember people losing photos many years ago. However, I never lost any photos since I saved them to an external hard drive to do that just in case I might run into more of that item years later. The thing with that is what Biff was talking about. So you can find your photos. That means you're not going to have to go in and get everything set up, take the item down, and take photos again. But you still have to create the listing again. And to have an external third-party program as a backup, I think, is useful. Duncan says, I don't save eBay pics. What if they lose all the extra images? I ain't redoing them all. What do you do? I mean, do you just pull down the inventory then? Because you're just wasting space. If you know that item's no longer there or the photos aren't there anymore.
Duncan's just going to keep it up there and hope that some dummy just says, forget it, I don't need to see what it looks like. I'm just going to base it off of the description.
Keith says, if you're not feeling well, go lay down. Are you feeling okay?
I'm having a lot of pain right here. I thought it was a tooth issue. I thought it may be something in my gums, or like I was trying to floss and see if something was up there that I didn't know. And it's not my tooth at all. I thought I was clenching from all the stress of the previous week. I thought that I was clenching my jaw when I was sleeping, but come to find out, I don't know what this is, but it's going from my gums right here up to my nostril right about there. And so I don't know, it's internal, so I can't see anything. I don't know what to do. Anyway, it's really annoying, and it kind of just makes me feel yucky.
Duncan says, I don't know how John finds the time for golf. I make time for myself. If you don't make time for yourself in this business, there was a time that, for when I wasn't bowling, I had an injury. I wasn't doing it really. I was just working 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day. And it can get you, if you're just, you got to take time for yourself. So I will go in, take 4 or 5 hours out of my day, usually in the morning. I don't play in the afternoons. So usually in the morning, I know that I come back home and it's time to get back to work. So I don't take full days off. I take time off, but I find that it's gets me out of the house and it kind of keeps me motivated. David says, trying to decipher a feedback I received, left me a positive with 4 stars, item description, and 5 stars on shipping. Feedback, packaging, unmet packaging, description, unmet description, value, unmet value.
What the heck?
That's odd. Yeah, that's an odd thing for the buyer to say.
That's weird.
And unfortunately, eBay will not touch that remark with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
It's a positive, though,
That's
right?
so annoying, though.
Big Al says, I'm moving my stock into a single one-off channel with eBay.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Now, it sounds like you might be a niche seller. I'm curious what you sell.
Yeah.
I have this thought that I wouldn't be as successful with one store. The idea that we're in 2 different stores, trying to build that second store to where it's going to be more of a volume store because of the low ASP, low demand stuff. Mick's Mercantile says, hey, John and Jenna. Nice to see you, Mick.
Hello.
Keith says, yes, Big Al. Thinking on your idea of cross-listing to other platforms, will probably use your promo link. Yeah. Use someone's promo link. Hook them up. And unfortunately, this chat just jumped on me. Time to Sell Collectibles says, year over year, 25.7% up versus prior time period. Average sales price per item, $92. I love that.
Nice.
Love that. Love that.
I do.
That's awesome. Big Al, sales have risen. They've risen. We have Jovial, says, hey, FA fam, tardy to the party. Happy National Sea Monkey Day.
Sea monkey. We don't have our sea monkeys.
I know. We need to get what did happen to that sea monkey jar?
It's in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Todd says, eBay Texas has been okay. Yeah.
Well, good.
The images did crash on all his 65,000 images, but I'm sure they've come back up, right?
Please say they came back up.
Well, he said he had them saved anyway on Ink
Oh,
Frog.
true.
Todd says between Kansas and Las Vegas, there's absolutely nothing to look at.
I don't know. I haven't taken.
Well,
that
I've taken
route.
the Southwest Chief train that runs from Kansas City through Albuquerque, and you're absolutely right. There's not a whole lot to see.
Well, the train runs at night on that route.
Well, unless it's late. I think it may have been late. No, what time does it run? Does it run at night on that one? I don't care.
Southwest
Nobody
Chief,
cares.
yes.
Kelly says post the video so the rest of us non-members can watch.
Yeah. Kelly
Okay.
Deb said she would like to have it over there.
Okay.
for others.
Okay.
Others to watch too.
I'm going. It's all your fault if I get people pissed off at me. Like you're a reselling channel. What are you selling all
those
this?
people can just. We are also human beings that have a life outside of eBay too. So go suck it.
Tommy Z says thank you for alive, my favorite reselling couple. Well, thank you,
Hello,
Tommy. Nice to see you. Bear's with us. Says hey J&J, good morning. I'm on my way to the auction. Just say hello. My week was booming. 9 orders. Local store was busy. Total 5,600 this week only. Damn, that's nice. I'm taking my stores to the next level. I love
That's
it.
awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, because just not too long ago,
Yeah, you were like.
down in the dumps about your
Yeah.
sales. So good. Keith says I would make a video public and would send Southwest a link to it. YouTube videos can be powerful motivator to companies looking bad. Yeah.
True. So I don't remember who said it. Somebody said something about posting it on X, and hashtag them, and that will really get their attention.
Can you post the longer form
I
videos?
have no idea.
I guess you can, right?
I mean, I'm not looking for like a bunch of. I don't want a lot of attention from this whole scenario.
I don't want to be on the news.
Honestly, I don't want to get arrested or sued.
You can't get sued over the truth.
Well, no, I get it, but I'm just saying, like, what you guys didn't catch is that I'm telling John, I don't need you to get arrested on this trip. Please don't get us arrested. And here I'm the one that was using the mouth.
When did you tell me that?
South. When you were going back and forth with Mr. Tony.
But I wasn't getting loud with him.
No, you weren't getting
I was
loud,
more pleading with the guy. Like, what are you doing?
I know, and that's why I was more worried that we weren't gonna be able to get on, even though he was doing what he was saying what he was going to do. I didn't quite. It was so mind-boggling to me that this was happening to us that I could not grasp the concept that somebody would actually be so devious and cancel a reservation in the future.
Yeah.
A future reservation. I was like, and us of all people, like we're not yelling, we're not screaming. Yes, I did call him an asshole because he was.
You call him a fucking asshole.
I called him a fucking asshole because
Sorry.
he was. He really was.
Well,
he was a coward, is what he
here's
was.
Here's the thing. There is a thing where an employee at the at Southwest, this is what they told me, can go in. If they feel like the passenger was egregious enough, they can go in and cancel, or put them on a no-fly list so they can't fly. Right? That's the biggest fear that I had, because if he really wanted to, he could have done that. But he was just being a jerk, and he canceled our return. And if he felt strongly enough that we were as bad as he probably put, we're alcoholics,
as he made us out to be,
then why didn't he put us on that list? Okay, so he didn't want to go through those steps.
He was in it for power.
He didn't want to go through those steps.
He was in it for power. It was a power move on his part because he could. He did.
And he had a smirk on his face.
Oh.
If you only saw the smirk on his... And I asked him, I'm like, you think this is funny? What do you do? I still can't believe it happened, to be honest with you. Ping G says, I use a desktop computer and my first crop works just fine. There you go. But see, that's on the computer. I do see that. It does that to me also on the PC, but it does it more so if you're cropping photos on the app. Callie Deb says, sending offers takes 2 attempts sometimes. Really? We have Gail. I don't know what Gail was saying, but there you go. Nice
Hello,
to see you, Gail. Time to Sell Collectibles says, I crop on PC, not on the phone. CW Trading says, I think you should put it up, watched it, and the way you were treated and what you had to do after Tony the Chump showed his ass is absurd.
Yeah, I honestly I've never felt so disrespected in my life. I mean, to make false accusations saying that we were intoxicated when we were not. Obviously, you guys all know that I'm 11 years sober, and this man doesn't drink.
I drink Fireball once in a while.
Okay, once in a blue moon, but you don't have to. I mean, that's not the point. The point is, we don't go home from, our 9-to-5 job and crack open a case of beer every night. We're not traveling to go see our son graduate from basic boot camp and getting hammered on a plane. Get the out of here with your stupid accusations. Oh, man.
Yeah. Cole Williams says, mine does not do the cropping thing. Saves fine the first time every time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
hello, Cole.
Not all glitches affect everyone. Like
Yeah.
I didn't see the photo thing personally firsthand yesterday,
Yeah.
but a lot of people were affected by it. Gail says, how crazy Southwest Personal was. Yeah.
Personnel. I think that's
Personnel.
what they were trying
Well,
to
let
say.
me just give credit to the people. There are 90%, 95% of the people we interacted with at Southwest were great.
Yeah.
It's the only two
Yeah.
three that really needed to get some training.
Yeah.
Mixed Mercantile. Wow, I thought the cropping issue was just me, my phone. No, it's not. It's an issue that's going on.
I thought the pictures not coming up was just me and my computer, and I even rebooted my computer.
Kelly says, airport interaction are some of my favorite videos. I'm sure you get a ton of viewers and a new subs. Yeah, it was really just designed. I went into the making the video just to document our trip, right? And those of you guys members care about what we did on our trip, then you guys could see what we had going on. And then that
it just
happened.
snowballed. It just literally I cannot even believe we went through what we did. I just was floored. I had no words. I didn't know what else to say other than calling him names.
Gretchen wants to know, does Poshmark delete your listing after a certain amount of time?
No, they're not supposed to. I've got listings on Poshmark that are solds that are just there to show that we are credible sellers. But I have hundreds of them on there.
Yeah, Devon says, put the video on X. I guarantee the CEO will contact you. To that point, though, I know Baskin Noodle said, hey, you should put an abbreviated version of your 5-page Word document to the CEO, and I just have to find that address information. How do I get a hold of this? How do I mail? I don't have. I just haven't been able to find it. So Sherman says, juggling photo positions and cropping on my listings has been a pain in the butt. It is a pain in the butt, especially when it doesn't take the first time. Gretchen says, okay, thanks. I just thought I had a lot of items in my Posh, but they've been reduced significantly. Drinking soda, you get you burpee.
That's terrible.
Burpee. That's bad video.
God.
But they've been reduced significantly. I haven't sold much items on there. CW Trading had photo issues as well. Not bad, but a couple of nights once, 8 p.m.
Where are you?
It was right here. Do you not see it on the screen?
Oh, I was reading Devon's
Okay,
shit.
well, I'll get to Devon's here in a minute.
But you...
When you're in charge of the bubbles, you don't always hit the bubbles in the order.
Make me take away your bubble clicker.
You are welcome to use it.
I can move it right here if I wanted.
Okay, but you've never offered. Devon says, hello, John and Jenna.
That's what
I am in Idaho now. Leave for Montana end of May.
Oh. How exciting.
And Gretchen's
It's
having
gonna
great
be so
sales on
pretty.
Mercari. We just got to get more stuff up on Mercari.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mercari, I despise Mercari. I honestly do. I hate it with a passion.
How many people are going to go now and get their stuff cross-posted from eBay to B Marketplace?
Not me.
Now that they've rebranded from Bonanza.
Not me.
Chastity says, all of my platforms have been having a snooze fest this week. Yeah, but is that the CEO's information?
B nudes, right on
Okay.
on cue.
Todd says, B Marketplace sounds like low-class women are for sale. Pink says, I didn't sell enough on Bonanza when it was free, so I closed my booth. Now they want to start charging. Give me a break.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly.
I don't see how Bonanza, because that's what we know it by, is in business in a year from now, if that's their marketing strategy. Bear says, Bonanza got a big banana in the okay. Pitco, I can relate to what Big Al was saying in his videos. That's been running on about 50% less sales.
That's terrible.
I'm just wondering though. There's got to be an answer. Is it the local economy? Is it the other marketplaces taking eBay's share? Samantha says, hello, John and Jen and FA viewers. I will have to rewatch it live. I'm under the weather, but you have my support. Keep on flipping, guys. Smile.
Oh, I hope you
Awesome.
feel better soon. I will be praying for you.
Gretchen on Telenovelas 2.
Telenovelas.
What is that?
It's a Spanish channel. I believe.
Is that Telemundo?
What she was referring to was that the eBay advertisements.
Time to Sell says, today I received my first non-promoted sale in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
So do you have some of your items not promoted and certain ones you do, or you just went to total unpromoted? Now, I am going to make a video showing you how to, right now, if you promote on eBay, if you take all your items off of promoted, just go in and just wipe it out so you're not promoting, you're still looking at promoted fees up to 30 days. You know, that buyer clicked on your listing while you had it promoted and they come back 2 or 3 weeks later and buy it when it's not promoted, you're still going to pay that fee. But I'm going to show you a way that you can go in, and it's not going to be for everyone, but it is an option that allows you to go in and redo the listing. So even if that buyer comes back and buys it from you, you're not going to be faced with paying a fee, but it is going to take some listings away from you. Devon says, my promoted listings down 80%, so you're not promoting as much. Amazon Seller says, it's crazy, but many items are actually cheaper to sell on Amazon due to the promoted listings. Most brand name items don't require any advertising on Amazon. I agree, and it's just like, just by looking at your name, I'm sure you've been selling on Amazon for quite some time. You're grandfathered in, I think, on a lot of brands. You're probably gated. The biggest hurdle that people face with Amazon, aside from their policies being very, very restrictive, is their gating process. It's very hard to get in on most decent-sized brands. Pitco says exactly the same for me also, Big Al, and we're not alone. There's a lot of people that I heard say the same about the sales going down. Jovial says, John, you may have the computer vision syndrome, known as computer eye strain, causing dry and tired eyes. Try using artificial teardrops and blink more often.
He has been using eye drops.
I don't have them with me. No.
So much that I don't want him to, I don't want his eyes to get used to it. He needs to go to the eye doctor.
Yes.
But as most of you all know, he will not switch his eye doctor to a Nevada eye doctor. He refuses and will only go to California.
Yep. This eye doctor knows my eyes. I've been going to him for the last 20-something years, and I trust my eyes with someone who knows my eyes than some yay who is like, yeah, let's try bifocals. No, thank you. I'm not going to do that. Sherman says, that one little ding on seller account is finally gone, and it was because of USPS issue and not me. Back to 100% top seller.
Nice.
There you go.
Way to go, Sherman.
Take care of your account health.
Where's my clap?
That's right there. We'll talk about the clap like that. Gretchen says, guys, if you promote a good item, you get so many watchers and keep increasing the money. Someone will eventually make an offer to buy it at full price. Yes.
True.
Todd says, I have a small store. 3% equals $1,500 for me each year. Not going to promote until my stuff stops selling. Okay, but let's talk about this. 3% equals $1,500. You're saying in extra fees each year. Now, are you?
That's not a small store.
That's not a small store, but you're counting that against every item that hasn't sold. You're only getting charged the extra 3% when it sells. So now, is it worth spending? So let's say you sell 300 items. Say 300 items in a year, and your average sell price is $20. So Well, I'm getting into the math here. $6,000. $6,000 times 3% is like, what, $180 or something? Maybe my math is off. I don't know. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. No calculator here involved. Now, that seems like a lot of money, but what if that extra 3% increased your sales to where you're spending a little bit more in eBay fees, but you're making more and selling more items over that time period? Because that's the only point in promoting, is getting more sales. But if you don't do it, if you don't do that across the board for, let's say, a month or so, how are you ever going to know what the impact is? And everyone's going to have a different impact from promoting. Duncan says, hit the like for a free tornado.
No.
750 crickets. Why would you wish a tornado on anyone?
No.
509 ads, 250 returns, and 100 spam emails.
No way.
And that all goes to Duncan. So Australia will get their first tornado if you do that. Gretchen says,
They
work
don't
for me.
have tornadoes?
I don't know. They have kangaroos. So I've never heard of them having tornadoes. Work for me. I had a hot item promoted with so many watchers. I kept increasing price. Someone actually bought the item at full price.
That's awesome.
So many times, if you send offers on items, or, like people will, maybe look at your items, they'll become a watcher, you send an offer, and maybe you're sending a 10 to 20% offer. There's so many times that right afterwards, that item will sell to someone else at the full ask. Big Al, in order to get my sales back up to 500,000 a year, I have to pay 9% ad fees. But, so the option is, you're at 240,000, right? Stay with that, don't promote, or promote at 9%, get 500,000 in sales. I'm willing to bet, if you do the math, you're probably making out more in profit with the 500K in sales. That's just my guess without looking at anything. Swamp Picker says, Todd, I listed the Oakley bag for $179.85.
Nice.
There you go. And, here's another strategy, Todd. What about this idea? List something, do not promote it. After 30 days, hopefully you're putting in your SKU when you listed it. After 30 days, do the end item sell similar process, and then promote those items while you're doing that bulk end item sell similar. You're promoting them all at that time to 3%, and see if that helps you at all. Amazon seller says some items are better on eBay, like China dishes, heavy and expensive to ship, so we can offer discounts for multiple quantities, sell more units. Amazon doesn't offer quantity discounts. Todd says, I did try 3% promoted for a year. I did not see any benefit with my sales, so I stopped promoting. But what if you tried that option? Don't promote for the first 30 days.
He says that he did for 6 months. I tried 3% promoted, no results after 6 months.
I don't know. Sherman says, I don't mind doing customer service, but 20 questions and a non-sale ticks me off.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good at all, and it's annoying, but you have always got to give customer service. I promise you that coming from the customer service industry and going through what we just went through was that last week? I don't even know what week it is. What we just went through with the poorest customer service I've ever experienced. To answer a few questions.
What about getting up in the middle of the night, going out, taking a measurement for somebody, and they never buy it? That's sucks. But it's just part of the game. It's part of the game, though. It's no different than you going to a store, asking questions about an item, and not buying it. Devon says it made it worse, 3% promoted listings, but maybe, and see, I'm just saying 3% to get it started, maybe for what you're selling, maybe it's actually 5 to 6% is the sweet spot. And when you go to the listing quality report, if you actually, I don't know, do we have that yet? I don't know. I have to look at the secondary account. I know we have it on the main account, but it'll show you for the top 10 categories that you sell in, what the top 10% of sellers in that category promote at. So you're up against that kind of competition. Randall says, hi, John and Jenna, just copied a year of coin scans, 1,500 scans onto a separate drive, and only took up over 2 gigs of space. Might be a good idea to back up your pics on even a 4 to 8 gig drive. For me, I still have to build the listing again anyway, so I'm just not going to do that. I'd rather just have it saved, set up on a third-party program like TreeCat or something. Bear says, sorry, bro, I'm going to hit the like when I get back home because I don't want to get sales when I'm at the auction. Okay. Kelly has 4 newsletters that go out each week, 2 for new items, 1 for sales, markdowns, and 1 for other order discount. It helps. Yes. For me, it wouldn't help. I don't have but a few followers. Glenn says, accepted an international return and was unable to provide a return label on eBay. Messy and time wasting, but eBay's got my back because I tried hard. It did all I could to consummate the buyer. But I believe if you're doing international shipping, that it's all handled by eBay. So I'm not sure you're doing EIS. That might be you just have your own international return policy set up.
Yeah.
Devon says, I've been selling men's laptop bags and there's a great money to be made. I need to source more. If you can find it, grab it.
Men's laptop bags. I didn't know, well, I mean, other than style, I guess I didn't know there was a men's or a woman's bag.
Like Kelly says, if you shipped out EIS, you need to contact eBay to find out. If you're in that program, find out why you're getting involved in it at all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get through the sidebar stuff. Time to Sell says, too many of my items have no sales history in product research. And that's tough too. I've come across that. Duncan says, I use AI to talk to international buyers in their language, so I just messaged one in Korean. It's also helpful in transcribing old mail.
I sure would love to hear you with your Australian accent speak in Korean. I think that would be a really good laugh.
Mike G says, I just got back from watching Accountant 2. Good movie. 2x to 10x flip. All depends on how quickly it sells and ships. I have around 3x and make over $18 profit per sale.
Nice.
I mean, you got to find out what's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
You know, if you aren't able to source, to get a 10x return, then you got to do what you got to do. But I know that I have enough sourcing options out here that I could go to the bins and settle for 5x, but it's not going to be the best return on my money. Now, if I start running into issues where I can't source at 8 to 10x, then I got to do what I got to do. Sherman says, if you just started out, my advice is don't do too much competition and race to the bottom. Right now, my store feels like a hobby, even though it started out great 4 years ago. Pico says, no, Vinted does more than clothing. It does other categories as well, like electronics.
Oh.
Yeah. Here's Brett. Hey, John and Jenna. I hope you're both doing well and enjoying being back home. Sales for me have been fantastic. Super steady for 2 weeks. Not doing anything different. Buyers are buying. You have got great stuff.
How is the baby?
Jovial says, I've been trying to eat a bit healthier lately,
This
only
is
to
what I was
have a piece of
laughing at
fresh
earlier.
baby spinach slammed stuck the side of the wall of my throat for the last hour. Never had an issue with chocolate. What the hell?
You gotta eat something else to wash that piece of
You're not supposed
down.
to eat the big chunks of like spinach. You're supposed to chop it up in your salad or whatever you're doing.
Just eat the chocolate. Just eat the chocolate.
Speaking of food, we were at dinner last night, and I'm sitting eating this sandwich. It's a
It was
what is it? The French dip
French
sandwich,
dip.
and they had a bone in the damn thing. I'm like, what the hell? They cut the bone off of it.
I mean, just call me Black Cloud.
Yes. Big Dre says, this post office drop-off center is convenient, but right now I'm stuck waiting for the computer to reset. Other times they prioritize gas station customers over me, even though I was first.
That's annoying.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with you guys a little bit.
Where are
Cole
you?
says, I'm just trying to get... I'm at the point where Beard says I'm skipping, right?
Oh.
Skip to my loop.
Well, Beard is here. He's just pretty quiet.
Yeah, he's always quiet.
He's actually controlling himself today, I think. I think he's busy.
Cole says, the sign of great customer service is shipping ASAP rather than waiting a day because you can. Yes. Especially if you have it advertised. It's 2-day handling, 3-day handling, and they get it out like ASAP. Buyers want it now. Of course, it's not possible, but they want it as soon as possible. Keith says, I had a few folks saying if I have several platforms you sell on to try Base Linker. I never heard of that.
Base.
There's some coming out of the woodwork there.
There
Glenn,
he is right there.
the one for $2.99 a month. I have to see this video. Primo said it was a must-see TV.
Oh no.
Yeah,
See,
go check it out.
I hate that it got hyped up because, like I said,
Yeah.
my frustration and the way our feelings around the situation are going to be much more heightened when it comes to that situation versus if you're watching it, you're like, well, okay, so your trip was delayed or your trip was whatever. No, it was, for me, I felt very disrespected.
Speaking of weird, good evening, everyone. There's Beard.
Oh, there's Mr. Weirdo.
Baskin Noodle says, Big Al is a channel I ran across the other day. Think said he's in Ireland and saw a 50% drop in eBay sales.
Yes, that's him.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, B-Nudes.
Sherman says, most of the stuff I sell are sports cards and original Pokemon from 99.
Oh, 99.
That's awesome.
They had Pokemon back then?
That's called vintage. Let's see. Skip to my Lou. John Doe says people are getting meaner and ruder by the day.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely 100%.
Yes. Sherman says, I think the sales I've been getting on eBay are indirectly due to postings on X. Really?
Really?
Beard says, oh, Jenna, can you imagine what Joni would have called Tony? He would have balled up in the fetal position.
I was doing everything in my power to let John handle the situation. I was so frustrated and absolutely heartbroken because I was missing Family Day with Tyler. You guys all know how much I was looking forward to these 2 days. I only had 2 days with my son, and then they go and they F up the whole trip by their their non-customer service attempt at getting us to where we needed to go in a timely manner. I only got 1 day with my son, and I won't see him again until October, if I'm lucky.
In all fairness, though, she talks to him every day through video chat.
I do now, but I hadn't.
Yeah.
He has his phone now at AIT, advanced individual training. He's in Georgia. I do get to talk to him now because he has more privileges, and which is, I'm surprised he hasn't called me today.
Pat, the traveling picker, says, I'll say hello in 26 minutes, John. Actually, I'm, 5 minutes ahead of your projection. So, Devon says, I drink the same thing, Fireball, once in a blue moon. I feel like a grandma and not a big drinker. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, it's about just taking the edge off of whatever, like I'm bowling bad, just have
Or, no, it's whenever my sisters and him are together, it's when the Fireball comes out.
And Beard's a member, but he just doesn't care. We have Carlexar Findings says,
He
hello.
already knows all the details.
Um,
Carlexar Findings.
Yeah, it's nice to see
you.
you.
Hello.
Daisy said, yesterday I got my first item not received from a customer after 10 days of waiting. So frustrated with USPS, I'm starting to make a move to FedEx. But, fine. They filed the item not received. Then you go in, you confirm the tracking, and then if they force you to take action, because you have to take action by the certain date if it hasn't arrived, refund them the money, and then keep an eye on it. Once it shows delivered, go back to eBay. They will make you whole on that item. Beard says, John's new name is Blinky. And then Basket says, did you all see that Jenna swallowed a yawn and her digital watch showed teeth?
What?
What? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't like to go like this every time I yawn because I yawn often.
How about this, Todd? Try a 5 to 6% promoted. And not even 6 months. Just give it a month and see if that helps. Or try the 30-day thing I was telling you, so that initially, first 30 days, there's no promotion for you. Kelly says, I don't promote or allow offers for the first 30 days, then I add it. It helps. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it would. Josh says, late but here. Hello, John, Jen, and everyone.
Hello,
nice to see you, Josh. Basket Noodle says, I don't promote anything. I've been vaccinated. Oh. Wow. Daisy says, by the way, I did some promotions after your advice and started to see more traffic and got a sale on this stale item. I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to sell. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
that's what it's all about. It's not about giving eBay extra money. It's about getting you extra sales, finding whatever way that you can to make that happen. Mike G says everyone has to figure out if their store needs promoted listings. I went from 3.5% last year to 2% this year, and my sales have increased 25% year over year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, John, good to know about a quality listings report. It should be. I want to at least make sure we still have access to it. They had announced at the Boss Reseller Remix when eBay was there. The scoop I got directly from Mike Camparelli is that it was something that all sellers were going to have access to at the end of April.
No, John, quality listings report is a ghost.
Is it?
Yeah.
So performance summary, and here's mine. Download listings quality report here on the right side on that bubble. And then here's what it ends up looking like. If I can get it up on my screen. There it is. And then look, it wants to go through all the different categories and tell me that I don't have enough photos in my listings, but I think that's a common theme with them. So go in and check and see if you have it, because I think, yeah, I know. So yeah, you don't have it yet. That's really strange. So what happened with that, Mike? If you're still watching, why haven't we all have access to our quality listings quality report? Garden Resell Thrifts is with us. Thanks for being here. DM Ephemeron, now we all know if we want to get Jenna irked, we can just bring up the trip in Southwest Airlines. Probably will still work months from now. Well,
sadly, I mean, to be honest, it was the worst trip of my entire life. I mean, there were moments of greatness and fun and laughter, but the beginning of the trip was absolutely the most horrendous.
Yeah, and we have this new saying that, at least on the PPP, don't be a Tony. Don't be a Tony. They're kind of teasing me a little bit on the Profit Playbook podcast.
No, you don't want to know what John tells me all the time now? I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. Stop yelling at me. Stop yelling at me.
It's not going to last very long because it's just going to piss me off.
But no, Todd, you're not a turd. I just think, look, sometimes we are convinced by past experience. I'm guilty of this too. I've come up with theories that you guys don't. Some of you guys think I'm crazy, and you let me know about it in the comments. But I'm somewhat convinced, like the whole geolocation thing. But now I think rather than it being just that, I think there's something tied to my handling. But I'm always going to read into things as whether it works or doesn't work.
Because we don't know.
We don't know.
We'll never know. It's all theories.
Right. But you got to try different things so that you can confirm, okay, I did 3%, didn't work, but maybe things, because I could tell you, eBay is making it more important to promote than it ever has been. And so if it was 2 years ago you did it and you didn't get success, I'm willing to believe that you're probably going to find that eBay is going to promote your listings a little more. And not just through search, through non-search rankings, through search insertions in other people's listings. Keith says, eBay gave me 50% less sales, so I should drop promoted by 50%.
Right?
Let's see.
No. Down.
I'm just reading that. Todd says, okay, Devon, I'm not a turd. I just smell like one.
No, you don't.
Duncan says, sorry, but my Australian South Korean accent is just too sexy sounding.
Put it in the Discord. I gotta hear it.
Sherman Volkman says, I have 40% more followers on eBay compared to followers on X, but sales have been coming through X. That's interesting.
That's wild.
I look at X. I read the posts on X.
That stuff on X.
I don't post on X. Maybe I should do. I got to be more.
I wouldn't
social
post
media.
anything on
Devon says, Jenna, no, you're not a black cloud.
Oh, believe me, after the experiences we've had over the course of the last 2 weeks, I am a black cloud.
Maybe they figured you were calcium deficient given your advanced age. Sandwich. Michelle R. says, I sold a vintage pillow. The lady complained about post office taking too long and acted like it was my fault. Now she's trying to say it reeks of smoke and I don't smoke.
What the heck? Oh my gosh, look at her kitty cat.
then tell her to send it back.
Yeah, tell her to return
Why
it
would you?
then.
I would wonder why they'd want to keep it if they were so appalled by the
Yeah.
smell. And then Duncan is
Sponsored
sponsored by KFC. Devon says it pisses me off when I purchase an item on eBay and it takes over a week to ship.
Yeah, that would make me angry.
And see, that's what we're dealing with. That's what our
Those
buyers
are
are dealing with,
yeah.
and we have to break the mold and make sure our buyers know before it even gets to tomorrow that we've already communicated with them that we're going to ship it. Ease that, because they're going back in their account. They're going to see, oh, is it shipped yet? No, it hasn't. Okay. But if you're upfront and tell them, hey, it's going to ship tomorrow, that kind of gives them a little ease, puts them at ease. Todd says, Devon, I promise to get your Beanie Babies shipped out right away. You get those Beanie Babies shipped out, darn it. Sherman says, you can get burnt with same day, next day shipping. I've already shipped things same day, buyer canceled, and items already en route. Well, then they're going to have to open a return on that.
Yep.
Michelle R. shipped out next day. It took 7 days from Florida to Rhode Island. Not my fault. No, it's
7 days. That's ridiculous.
It can get stuck, but here's the thing also. That communication that you have with the buyer, instead of them going right to an item not received case, you could say, look, there is a delay in some of these hubs. Give it a few days. Give it another 3-4 days. And then if it doesn't show up, open up an item not received case. Because at some point you want them to open an item not received case. Because if you refund that buyer after they open a case, then eBay is going to take care of you. Because essentially they're forcing you to refund the buyer before they get the item. Ryan Hess says, I finally found a place to move into that I can afford for my eBay reselling salary, so I could stop sleeping in my car at the train station. Things are looking up.
Yay, Ryan! I'm so happy to hear that.
That's awesome. Like to see that.
Praise God. That's awesome.
Beard says, this is for your quality listing report. eBay is a joke at this point. Well, I have every reason to believe that Mike Camparelli is always going to give me the straight scoop.
But
so,
Mike is just the reporter
yes.
from what eBay representative
how many
said
times,
about quality listing report. But they are eBay after all.
Yeah, how many times has eBay told us something and it turned out to not happen? There you go.
Yeah. So don't shoot the messenger.
Duncan just hit the like so Jenna can get another sale.
Yeah.
There you go. Sherman says, I promoted my brand on Google and all I get are sales calls from people wanting to sell me crap or services. Yeah, that happens with us on our channels. We have our email address linked to our YouTube channel, and I get so many yahoos. Like I get these people saying, promote this fitness bike, or I'm like, does it look like I'm able to promote your fitness anything? Promote like off the wall AI, insert whatever name here, AI, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I go and look, it's like some weird AI program that nobody here would use. It's just weird. I'm not trying to, I got rid of 2 sponsors already. I'm not trying to find sponsors. I'm not, they're like, well, we'll give you $600 if you make one video. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to make a video that no one's going to resonate with.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't really released that travel video yet, but I might just do it. Sherman says, whoops, I think I read that. Yeah, I think I read that already. Duncan says, in all fairness, my listing quality report says promote higher and add some pics to my listings. I think I can sell with no pics and no worries at all. No worries. Yes. Time to Sell says, consider customer service to be a first impression. You only get one chance.
That is right. And Tony,
how would Southwest would have looked
up.
if Tony would have met me?
Oh man.
If Tony would have been the first guy to meet me as I'm getting off of the little platform into the terminal, saying, hey, you know what? Sorry you missed your connection. Was limited to things I can do. Come with me. Come sit down in this area. Is there anything that we can give you to drink? A $1 drink ain't going to kill you.
$1? Where is a drink $1?
That's their cost. Their cost. Not charging me. Here, we'll get you a soda. Come sit down. And we can help you. Let us explain to you what's going on here. That would have gone a lot further than me fishing for somebody that could help me. It's just being proactive. I think it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Sherman says, if you don't promote, you get left back. Yes, I agree with that. I'm a firm believer in that. And then Brent posts items from eBay's social media page on Sellers Hub on his IG and Facebook accounts. 3 to 4 items every few days to bring external traffic. He uses Pinterest every once in a while. I think those are all good ideas. Basket Noodle, if they want it faster, send me chocolates. We've been experimenting. Speaking of chocolate, we've been experimenting with this Ninja Creamy. And
We've only done it once.
yeah, we've been experimenting with it.
We experimented.
Yeah, well, no, I still bought $120 worth of protein powders that are supposed to taste like chocolate milkshake and all that stuff. Got to try that one.
We need to add some
but
something else to it.
Got to do that so that I'm not eating like ice creams and stuff. Something that's going to be low in, tastes good, but is low in all that crap.
Calories.
Mike G experienced similar results when I took 2 separate vacations. First one, 8 days, and I took my inventory with me, and I kept 1 day handling. Second, 5 days, and I staggered. Sales were weaker than norm.
Interesting.
Sherman says, what we have is a failure to communicate with buyers. Yes. Devon says, John, you are not fat.
Nope, I tell you that all the time.
I feel like I am. Baskin says, communicating with eBay begins with step 1. You have to begin licking the logo on your PC, smartphone, tablet, and screen reader if impaired. I wouldn't do that.
Someone's at the door.
This is the segment of the show where Jenna is now dealing with. Why are you sitting on a dongle?
What?
That's where you were sitting on a dongle.
I don't know. Your room?
Yes, this is where she goes and checks the door. We have FedEx at the door, and there's no packages for FedEx. Tony works like promoted listings. Oh, no. Baskin knows the Ninja Creamy experimenting. Details. Well, we get the, you get the what? The muscle milk. It's like the big canister, and you put that in with like some almond milk. Shake it up, let it freeze, and then you use the creamy to make it to like a creamy goodness, like the consistency of ice cream. You can like add mix-ins and stuff to it, and that's kind of what we're doing. It's actually pretty good. Devon says, as we get older, I crave more sweets. I do too, and this is one way you can have that and not have to pay for it. Time to Sell Collectibles says, retired from the military and found myself a well-rounded individual. Yes, I think, and this is a video I was going to do, but I thought it's kind of cheesy. But really, we all need a drill sergeant at some point in our life. Now, my dad was sort of my drill sergeant. I had developed my work ethic because, you know what, if I didn't do it right, I was going to have to do it again. And I kind of learned from an early age. But a lot of us don't get that kind of upbringing. And like Tyler or my son Jonathan, I mean, he had a good upbringing, but he was just kind of, the kids nowadays, they get lazy, right? And they go to boot camp and then they change. And I think a lot of sellers, if they had that mentality that you need to get out there and work when you don't feel like it, keep pushing forward even when things aren't going your way, rather than just giving up or losing motivation. I think we all need that kick in the butt, and some of us don't have it. Some of us need bosses, and it's just kind of the way we're wired. We're better when we have someone telling us what to do instead of being self-driven. Keith says, we don't want to know about your chocolate experiments. We know how messy that can get. And then Devon says, I agree, John, 100%. And Baskin says, got to get your ass kicked by a good woman's. Yes. Now, I don't know if Beard's going live tonight. I would assume he is in about 10 minutes. I don't know if he's still with us to let me know if he is or not. Don't know if he's doing his whatnots or whatever. I have a carload of stuff that's in my vehicle that I have to get out and organized in the garage tonight. Spent a solid 2.5, 3 hours out and about running around this town, getting all picked up and loaded in my car and stuff. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, so I may not be able to do a whole lot of stuff on his live tonight if he's going live. Jovial says, I had a dream of truckloads of chocolates dancing in my head. Was that FedEx?
Yeah, we're going to be getting a new driver.
Really?
Yeah, I told him, you better train him
Well, he's probably sick of showing up to the house when there's no FedEx
No,
packages.
he's going to school for his CDL.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He says, I hear that drill sergeant every morning in my head say, get up now, you got to go, you got work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but some of us don't have that. And I think, like in Tyler's...
that's John in my head all the time.
Like Tyler, in his case, he's got that in his head. He knows that he has to get up. It used to be with that kid that he would sleep until noon, and trying to get him up, it was like not happening.
Yeah. Well, all of our kids are... Well, no. Our boys were like that.
Yeah.
It was Jonathan and Tyler just... Yeah. Oh, my God. Trying to get them up
So
and
frustrating.
Out. But now... They don't have that problem.
I mean, my son Jonathan's on top of it. He will sleep in when he's allowed to, but he's on top of things.
Yeah.
So, I think we're kind of at the end of the show. I didn't hear back from Beard. I would assume he's probably doing a live. So go over and check. Oh, by the way, Kelly says, my mom is a retired U.S. Army drill sergeant. It's definitely made me a better person, but it was rough. Yeah.
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 But go check out Bearded Picker's
awesome.
channel and see if he's going live. And if he is, go over there and give him some support and just continue the conversation over there.
Don't give him support. Just harass them.
Just harass
living
him. Yeah.
Shit out of him.
But guys, I'm going to continue to push this forward because I'm a firm believer of this. Most of us can do better when it comes to our customer service, and that starts.
Duncan, he's not.
And that starts at the sale. That doesn't start when they contact you. Be proactive. As soon as they buy from you, have a generic message where you're sending them and giving them ease and knowing they can deal with you and reach out to you before they open a return or open an item not received or, leave a negative feedback. But getting all that implemented and figuring out how it works for your business is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy.
Have a great weekend. We love you. God bless you all.
And we will talk to you very soon.
We'll talk to you on Monday.
See ya.
Bye.
Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. Zero takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that is within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your style. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the